Well, I think what's happening maybe in the past 15 to 20 years, food has come to the forefront of lots of conversations. Well, people used to eat, of course, and they needed to eat, and there's always been a big food market. But food was sort of in the background, something that people needed or was part of their home traditions. It was not part of public discourse. Now it's square in the middle of what people talk all the time. And there are lots of conversations that are also social and political and environmental that happen around food. And I think that's been a very big change. First, and social media have played a huge role in this, because now certain trends, certain ideas, certain practices are under everybody's eyes. You can see what people are doing, I don't know, Rio de Janeiro and in Rome. On Instagram especially, you see lots of food-related images, and that's becoming important. You have lots of conversations on Facebook. The younger generation might use Snapchat. Of course, people use different social media, but social media has allowed the circulation of ideas and practices and values that is really trickled down from a small group to, larger and larger segments of our society. I think there is going to be a growing interest for plant-based foods. The trickle-down effect happens. It's going to be more and more relevant in the future, frankly. It's an interesting shift in the late majority, precisely because in certain countries, like in Western Europe, or the US, Canada, we see this movement from meat and fish towards plant-based diets, while in countries that are still developing, there's still the meat consumption in a way. I think it's going to become more and more relevant because people are also becoming interested in knowing how to cook, for instance, with plants and with produce, with fruit. But very often, people don't have the time. And so they like to find products that nevertheless take care of this health aspect of their life. For your core elements, you're more comfortable with familiar foods. So even in case of new products, you have to be able to understand how they fit in your diet or in the sort of framework of diet that you've grown up with, that you might want to change a little bit. But, it's difficult to jump from one model of diet to a completely different one. I think, it works in increments. And so familiarity really works for this. People want to eat tasty food that makes sense to them, food they can relate to. And there's also the perception that, yes, you can eat tasty, fun, interesting food that is plant-based. You don't need, your big chunk of protein to have something that it's enjoyable.